Today, what we have here is triple diamond penny roll. Now, when you find a triple diamond penny roll, if it does not have this little lip on it, this edge, if the edge is smooth, one piece, then you have a newer triple diamond penny roll. But the edge is up like this, then that means it came from a roll and it's ripped, right? It's ripped. They come in big, huge rolls. I think of 500 or 1,000. And like the way carnival tickets come on a roll, and they pull one off and they give it to you, or like that. So let's see how much copper we got in here, and that'll tell us if this is an older, if someone just had it lying around, or if they actually had older pennies that they put in here. Uh, it's hard to tell. I mean, I could obviously see some copper in here, but we are going to have to check it out because it doesn't look like it's 30-40% copper. It looks like maybe we have 10 if we're lucky. So for those of you who are members, then you're watching this video on the day that I recorded it. Everyone else has to wait for it to be scheduled. And what happened during the week that just passed, right, with tariffs and all that. Again, by the time this video is scheduled, for all I know, there's no more tariff issues, or for all I know, the dollar has dropped. Here's our first copper. The dollar has dropped even further than it has recently. So, second copper. So, during the week, oh, that's nice. The dollar dropped, and one of the correlations or things that connects to the dollar is the bond market. So now I'm not sure, the bond market, it's like anything else, right? Dollar goes up, value of other currencies go down. So there's always an inverse relationship on the market, right? And sometimes when something goes up, that's bad for the economy, and sometimes when things go down, it's good for the economy. And right now, the stock market is, well, during last week, the stock market started to melt down. And as the bond market goes down, so does the US dollar. And so what we're going to talk about is the US dollar, right? Because if the dollar goes up, it's a weird thing, right? Other countries, you would think that if you were another country, you would want the US dollar to be as strong as possible, especially if you are not trading in dollars, but if your country is using dollars. So, for example, Venezuela, I don't know, whatever, Dominican Republic, whatever, different country, let's say that's using the US dollar. So the higher the dollar goes, the more of their own stuff from their country they can buy. I guess that's like grown locally or what have you. But the higher the dollar goes, the higher. So let me see if I got this correctly, right? So let's use the dollar as the benchmark, right? Dollar is $1, and let's say you have um, pesos, and you need 200 pesos to equal to $1 in your country. I'm saying whatever. Okay, and then you want to buy an apple from America. So the apple's $1. Okay. Now the US dollar is going up and down every day. And if the US dollar goes up, what does that mean for the apple? Another nice copper. More copper in here than I thought. What does that mean for the dollar, for the apple? Well, it might mean nothing for the apple, right? Because apple price won't necessarily change if the US dollar is going up and down. But what does it mean for you in the other country? Okay, now let's say you have no dollars, right? And you want to buy the apple. Now the dollar went up to $1.50, and since your peso is double the value of not double the value, double the cost of the dollar. Now, um, what does that mean? So your currency also goes up, or does your currency go down? Well, your currency will go up also. So now, no, your currency doesn't go up, but you can get more of your currency with that dollar. Okay, so now the dollar goes to $2, unless there is a change. But let's say there's not a change. I'm saying. So now you have a U.S. dollar, and you can get 300 or 150. Excuse me, 150. No, it was 150. Now the U.S. dollar is 150. Okay, so it goes up. Well, let's say it was 1 to 2. $1 for 200 pesos. So the dollar went up $1. That means you can get now 400 pesos. But if you had pesos, right? This is why it's so tricky. And that's why I was getting confused. Right? So the dollar went up to $2, and your pesos are 400. That sounds great, right? Not really, right? Because now you need to buy that apple for $1. You needed 200 pesos yesterday, but today you need 400 pesos. And if you had the dollar, you could still only buy one apple, even though the dollar went up. You could still only buy one apple with it. The apple would have to go down for you to buy more apples with the dollar. But you just lost 200. You just lost a big percent. So even though the dollar went down, because that's the currency you're using, your money went down also, even though you might have more of it. Right. So if you really think of that equation, and you put it into context of countries whose money got totally decimated, like the German marks became worthless. People were using it as wallpaper, right? At the end of World War, I believe World War II. Wallpaper, toilet paper, kindling, because it became worthless. You could have millions and millions of it and you're broke. No white AM. So when the bond market goes down, my understanding is that the dollar is supposed to go up. But that's not what's happening. For some reason, the bond market is going down. And so is the dollar. Because it's not happening in a natural sense. It's happening because of the trade war and China is dumping their bonds. They bought a lot of our bonds. So they had a devious plan. And I guess because they're dumping the bonds so quickly, oh, that's beautiful. They're dumping the bonds so quickly, it's having an effect on the bond market. The other side looks brand new. That's crazy. That's crazy. So the dollar's getting weaker. Okay. And other countries' currencies, I believe, are getting stronger. Specifically, I believe the euro. So you can buy less. In this example, the euro is getting stronger, the dollar is getting weaker. So you can buy less euros with your dollar. Okay. And if you want to buy something from Europe, because because their stuff is priced in euros, you can buy less with dollars. Right? So if they have an apple that was a euro yesterday, today it's still a euro. But our dollar is now worth less than a year, wherever it went down. So you need your dollar plus more dollars to buy that same apple. But those with euros can now buy our apple. If our apple was $1, now their euro, they can buy an apple and then some with their euro. So that's how that works. So our dollar getting weaker. Oh, look at that. Missing part of the D. And is it all the letters? Oh, yeah, and the trust. So it's probably a grease strike. All right, quite a bit of copper. We think we did find about 10 coppers in here. Maybe a little bit more. No white AM. So, what does that mean for copper? Right? If the dollar gets weaker, metals should become more expensive in dollars, right? So even though the value of the metal the value hasn't changed. Copper, it's just how many dollars you need to buy it goes up. But if you had euros, if the euro is getting stronger, then in the euro, the copper won't change. But in dollars, it will change. If the dollar gets weaker, copper, silk, all that stuff becomes more expensive because the dollar's weaker. That's crazy if you think about it. So that's why with precious metals, it's not like other things. Other things they could bite the bullet, right? They could say, "Oh yeah, we're going to keep the apples. If there's a little inflate, we're not going to change the prices of apples if the dollar goes down a little bit." But with metals, they can't do that because it's a store of wealth. So other people, if you kept the metal the same, other people could just buy it for that price, right? So, for example, if copper is $4, that's a nice looking penny. If copper is $4, it has to go up if the dollar gets weaker because they can't sell you the same. Or gold. Gold has to go up if the dollar gets weak because they can't sell you the same amount of gold for the weaker dollar when somebody wants to buy it with um someone wants to buy it with euros that's strong. They can't because then that would be ridiculous, right? The price would be different. They have to make it match the relevant currency. Okay. So what does this have to do with pennies? Well, obviously I was talking about copper, and so copper would go up as a weaker dollar went down. So that would mean the funny thing is dollars would become weaker, but your copper pennies would become worth more. Ain't that funny? Because if you think of pennies, you think of penny as currency, the penny should go down also. Well, that's pretty big zinc rot. And that might be the case with new pennies or zinc pennies. But older pennies are made of a metal that is used, which is copper. And as the dollar goes down, copper will go up. Right? As the bond market goes down, the dollar should also go down, right? They should be going together. And again, I think that has nothing to do with the yield. The yield would be different. Is different than the yield is different than the direction the bond market is going in. It's confusing. 1957D. We got a wheat cent. Look at this. Nice. But the important thing to remember to know is that as the dollar goes down, inflation goes up. Which means things get more expensive. But look at 2 wheat cents. I can't believe this. And are they the same? No, 57D and a 53D. Interesting Liberty. Let me look at that under the loop. I don't know. There's doubling on it. That E is, and there's doubling in the Liberty. Oh, there's doubling in the motto. How about the reverse? There's doubling in the Liberty and doubling in the motto. I don't know if it's a double die though. It could just be deteriorated die or mechanical doubling. So again, so copper will go up as the dollar goes down. I mean, it might go. I mean, copper has been pretty stable for years and around that $4, 3.50, three. It's not like gold. Gold has doubled in the past 5 years, 6 years. It's doubled. 7 years. It went. I remember I was getting it for 1,500 to 1,800, and now it's what 30, 32, 3,300. So it's doubled, right? But copper has not doubled over the past 10 years. I think it's the same as it was 10 years ago, 3.50, $4. But it will go up now if the dollar continues to fall. Hopefully, obviously, I'm rooting for the dollar to bounce back, right? Everything we do here in this country is in a dollar. So if the dollar crashes, we're screwed. Unless you own assets that will not be affected by the dollar. Another grease strike. STA. Let me put it with the other one. Where's the other one? Oh, there it goes. I'll put them next to each other. So again, what does that mean for the penny? Well, it means that your copper pennies will become worth more in dollars. They won't become more valuable in other senses. You'll just get more. You'll just get more dollars for it. But if you had if the euro, let's say, goes up, it might be the same for them. So nothing changed in their world, just ours. If the euro stays strong, stays at the same value, or goes up in relationship to ours, then they would get more copper or gold or silver in relationship to our dollar, but not in relationship to their euro. So we'd be the ones getting screwed. Bottom line, if our dollar gets weak, we get screwed, not the rest of the world. So copper will go up, which means anyone who's hoarding copper pennies has more value in dollars. And they might want to stop so pennies, so the real penny, right, the zinc penny, to the 2025 penny will become worth even less. This is where I was going with all of this. Will become worth even less in dollars. 1992, we're looking for the close AM, no close AM. Will become worth even less in terms of dollars. And that's when the government, Congress might say, "Oh, that's it for the penny. We're not making any more pennies because if it costs 3 cents to make a penny, that has the woody lamination errors. Yeah. If it costs 3 point something cents to make a penny, right, in 2025, well, if the dollar goes down, it'll cost even more to make the penny. It'll become 4 or 5 cents to make the penny. And at that point, so they'll just have to step in and say this is, even though the tin lobbyists will try to prevent that from happening. They'll just have to say we just can't do it anymore. It's just we're losing too much money and we can't afford it right now. The only reason we're making pennies now. Think about this. Oh, look at that. That is odd. Oh, this is going to be the thumbnail, I think. The only reason we keep making pennies is because we can afford to. Even though we're losing money, it doesn't matter. The country is, has been basically considered to be pretty rich. But once we can't afford it no more, that's it. It's done. Once we can no longer afford to make pennies, the penny is gone. And they're already talking about getting rid of the penny. All they need is the real excuse to say, that's it, man, we can't afford this no more. When the government says they have to, which the government is tightening their belt, but for some reason, I guess the penny and the lobby, it's just that it's very difficult to stop making pennies. Obviously, or they would have stopped making it a long, long time ago. But if the dollar falls, which the dollar has, I don't know if how far down the dollars ever went. You know what? Let me check. Let me look at the. I think that's the Dixie, right? Isn't the dollar index is the Dixie? Yeah, DXY Dixie. Let's look at the dollar. Yeah, I'll let you watch with me. I think this is it. All right, so the dollar's down, right? Like I was saying, it's down 1%, which I think in dollar terms, that's a lot. It's down a penny. So, right, so you can see it here. The dollar was here, and now it's end of the day or whatever. It's down. It's down. It's down. All right, let's go to 5-day. Down, 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 down. Let's go to 1 month. See, it was up here. Now it's down. It was It was $1.4. The Dixie was $1.04. Now it's 99. 104 to 99. Wow. That's like 5% it lost already. And that's a month. 3 years. Holy moly. I had no idea. The dollar was $1.10, $1.09 3 months ago. Oh wow. Wow, 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 wow. A year, 3 years. Okay, so here's where we're gonna see some volatility. Which I hate to say it, that's good. So at least I'm seeing that there are other points where the dollar was 99 cents. But that's the lowest. No, so we are lower at 99.78. That's 99.91. We are lower than any other point in the past 3 years. All right, we'll go to all, I guess. Huh. But we're at 99. Oh wow. Okay, so in 2020, so during COVID, the dollar went down to 90. That's right, because I remember the euro was also, but that's what I don't understand. The euro was also low, if I remember correctly. Huh. Okay. In 2008, we were 77 cents. Okay. All right. So we're nowhere near the historic lows. So in 2008 for 5 years, man, the dollar was ultra, ultra low. Oh, and what's that tell you? If we're in a 2008 type scenario, and so that was our last big recession was 2008. Lasted 5 years, man. If we're just heading into it, well, we're screwed. I mean, it felt like we've been in a recession for the past 3 or 4 years. So if those were good times, we're in big trouble. Yeah, if those were good times, we're in big trouble. So historically, the dollar has been much lower than it is right now. At many points in time, I'm saying. But they were not talking about getting rid of the penny 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. They're talking about it now. They want to get rid of the penny. Trump wants to get rid of the penny. So if copper goes up and they get rid of the penny, copper pennies will go through the roof. Meaning, now you might say, what do you mean through the roof? Because right now you can get them for, I don't know, what does a roll? Let's look to see what's the cheapest roll of copper pennies on eBay. Copper penny roll. All right, we're gonna look at the absolute cheapest copper penny rolls on eBay. Like you could just the average any normal person could go out, go to eBay, and just buy a roll of copper. So that's 50 penny. I don't want to look for a pen. All right, so I don't want to look for the price of 8 for one single copper penny, right? Because it has to start at about $1. Because it costs 60 cents, even if you just put it in a stamped envelope. The envelope costs a nickel. It costs 65 cents just to ship it. Then eBay takes their 20% out of $1. So it costs 85 cents to sell a penny, a copper penny. So I don't want to look at a penny because it's really just 15 cents, even though it says $1. They're only making 15 cents. All right, and let's take auction off. Right, you don't want to look at auctions because they could end up being 20 times the price that you're looking at. So we don't want to look at the auction price. We want to look at buy it now. Okay. You see, and look, single 1 penny. They want $1. The cheapest penny on eBay is $1.20, copper penny. All right, but we're looking for a roll. Right? Because even though the cheapest penny is $1.20, I'm going to assume you can get a roll for $6 or $7. So why would you buy one unless you're looking for the date, right? And the 1960 D just happens to be the one that comes in the small and large date. So, and he sold 43 of them at $1.20. Okay. We're looking for a penny roll. 50. 50 very good pennies. All right. Did I pass them? 50. Oh, here it goes. 1940s or 50s US pennies rolls. Wow, that seems really cheap. $8. Does it get cheaper? 2010, that's not copper. 50 coins, $8. That seems cheap. All right. And these all right, $7.75. So $8. I like to look at that one that we were looking at before. See how tricky they get? They show you these old style rolls. 19 in carts. Yeah, no kidding. So this person here, they sold 400 at this time, 448, 548 of these penny rolls they sold at $8, free shipping of wheat cents. Wow, it's pretty nuts. I might have to pick one up just to check it out. Like, what do you get for $8? That's, woof, that seems really cheap. $8. Maybe I'll use his picture for the thumbnail. It's a cool looking picture. That's funny. Maybe I'm gonna hit the picture button. Okay, I took the picture. So what does that mean? Let's just use $8 as the price for 50 pennies. Well, $8. I mean, it costs $4.25 to mail out Or it costs like $5 to mail something out. That's like eight ounces, and a penny roll is close to that. So, and then eBay takes their $1.50, so that's $6.50. He makes $1.50 on 50 penny. So he's making what? He's making 3 cents. He's making his copper value on wheat cents. Well, I don't know how much longer this guy's stuff is going to last. I might have to pick up. I'm going to pick a roll. And matter of fact, if you buy 4, you get it for $6.50. You get it for $6. Excuse me. If you buy 4 rolls, you get them. So I guess he's hoping people buy multiple rolls. Like if you buy 6 of them, the amount of money he saves in shipping, then he's making a profit. I wouldn't even have sold them by singles. I would have just put them four for $24. I wouldn't even take the chance on the people buying one. You lose him. He's losing money on selling singles. I might just buy 4 of them just for the hell of it. Okay. So sales like that are going to be gone. $6 for a wheat cent roll, even if it's searched, that's not going to be. That's why they're selling like hotcakes. I mean, yeah, if he sells 1,000, he sold 6,000. But if he had to pay $5,000 in shipping, you know what I'm saying? That doesn't make any sense, man. Doesn't make any sense or sense. And our last penny is a copper penny. Yeah, I think I'm going to pick up some of those just for YouTube content, and maybe I'll penny roll hunt them. Maybe I'll pick up 2 of them. It just drops down. It drops down $2 on 4 of them, man. That's bananas, and they're all wheat cents. That's crazy, man. All right, so how much copper do we get today? So there was more copper in the first one. That's that diamond one. There was more copper, and we got some really nice, some real pretty ones. We got like 3 of them that are really in nice condition. We got a couple wheat cents, a couple 82s, a couple 2017s, and one possible double die. All right. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please click like and subscribe. This is episode 476. I'll see you in episode 477.